Hello everyone, I'm CZ Lumen and this is StarCraft 2. And today we have a gold versus bronze match, and we're going to find out if gold takes or continues to take the lead against the bronze, or the bronze player takes the victory away from the gold. Mr. Slow in the bottom left hand corner, playing as the Protoss, is the bronze player. Adams, playing in the upper right hand corner of the map with the Terran forces, is the gold. Who takes home the gold in this episode? Let's go ahead and speed things up here. I don't have a lot of Terran versus Protoss, so this is going to be a nice little change of pace. Normally, I've been seeing a lot of Zerg versus something, so this is good. This is good. We'll change up here. We have a nearby Stargate, no wall off, cybernetics core. Seems to be a pretty common thing, keeping base building for the Protoss as close to the main base as possible. Looks like we have a late command center by the Terran. Protoss already having the second expansion. A little bit of harassment by the Terran with the Reaper, but the Reaper looks like it went down. So just speed through a little bit of this here. This match goes on for a little bit of time. I think it's about 17, 18 minutes, so we'll see. Looking for anything interesting that happens. We have the second CC is pumping out units. From here on out, when I call out worker comparisons or army comparisons, the first number is going to be Terran, the second number is going to be Protoss. So right now, when I say 29 versus 46 workers, the Terran is at 29, with Protoss being at 46. Army supply being 23 and 30. Terran being behind in the economy. Whoa! Protoss is definitely taking the lead here in building up that economy. Speaking of such, we have a third Protoss base already coming down. It takes, now to note, it takes about a little over a minute, from what I know, for a probe on ideal conditions, that's 2 probes per minerals patch, to pay for itself. So we have the 300 mineral investment plus the cost of buying all those probes is a little bit of a setback before everybody basically pays for itself and starts gaining a bonus. Terran is building up what it looks like a simple bio army with a +1 ranged upgrade. Marauders and Marines with some tanks. This is a pretty decent army, actually. With a couple of Vikings. Vikings are going to be useful for the Colossi. I wonder. So there is a bug where Colossi are actually, they have 1 extra range than they're supposed to. They're supposed to have a range of 9, but instead that they have a range of 10, and Mr. Slow here is going to be using that to his benefit. That was a really clean warp in there too. Stalkers with Zealots in the front. That was really satisfying. Looks like we're about to have a fight on our hands. Protoss does see what's going on here, Mr. Slow. Let's go ahead and figure out, let's do a battle breakdown before this happens. And here we go. Protoss is widely separated in this situation. Not what you want to be engaging a force. Terran forces are nice and balled up in a very small area. There's no there is splash damage with the Colossi, which is something that the bio army here is not going to enjoy here in just a second. However, there are stalkers in the mix that prevents the Vikings from being used initially to knock down those Colossi, which it would be the main target for them, as the Colossi are being able to be attacked by air units because of their giant size. Zealots are out of position. Half of the army here is out of position. Protoss, however, the army size is 67 to 80. Am I missing anything? Yeah, just Marauder Marine mix. 1/1 upgrades are done for both Protoss and Terran. I don't think I'm missing anything else. We have a couple of stragglers. I love this sentry over here popping his shield. This is going to be one of the most useless shields in existence here. Just I mean, that shield is going to be extinguished before it even gets to the front line. Does this guy have enough energy to... I can't even click on him, can I? There we go. Yeah, that's... I don't know if that's a misclick, but hey, there we go. Go ahead and make your bets right now to see who wins this little fight, and let's go. Terran taking up this. Like I said, this is going to be a pretty hard fight for the Terran army, coming in there, getting just absolutely clobbered by the Colossi. No spread, taking on the full front of that concentrated fire of all 4 of these Colossi. Blink has been completed for the Stalkers, blinking forward to being able to concentrate as much firepower as possible. We already see a massive decrease in army size to 48 versus 76. And siege tanks firing as much as they can, but this is not looking good for the Terran. This is a really bad engagement for them. Coming out definitely behind. Vikings trying to knock out as many Colossi as possible, but this is not what you want as the Terran player for your first engagement, to just get completely stomped. And that was it. Army supply is 9 to 50. It's hard to believe this game goes on for much longer. We're at the 9-minute mark, and the Terran aren't just trying to play catch-up, but they're behind in the economy. They don't even have half the army. They don't have the resources to fight this, or the production. How do they survive much longer? Right at the front door, this command center is likely to go down. There is no defending this. Even if it lifts up, the Stalkers are going to be able to move forward and knock it out of the sky. Zealots out. No, yeah, that's it. That's it. I don't know why I thought this game was 17 minutes long, but I was expecting some kind of rabbit being pulled out of a hat here, and I was completely wrong. GG is called by Adams. That one fight being the deciding factor here. Bronze taking home the win against the gold player, and that was just a straight up yeah, that was honestly just a straight up base building followed up by an army building, and then following in. Protoss had resources in the bank to be able to recover. Let's see. Recover the army value had they lost it. The engagement could have been a lot better on the Protoss side. Separating, dividing, moving around, trying to flank, anything like that. But really, that did not go well for the Terran in any way, shape, or form. I mean, even with these forces here, just a few of these Colossi just being able to just absolutely shred all this bio army. Tanks and Cyclone in the background trying to do as much damage as possible. Like, just this alone. And that's, yeah. I'm going to back up just a little bit more here. What happened here for that unit division? Okay, so we have these forces here which are going to be moving up ahead. So it looks like Protoss simply clicked over here. Oh, you know what I can do? There we go. We're going to go back here, and we're going to see this from the Protoss's perspective. Okay, there we go. I was wondering.
Research complete.
All right, so he's watching. He's paying attention. He sees what's going on here. He has his whole all of his units are selected. I mean, look, good engagement for the Protoss. Could have been a little bit better, but this was solid. No splits to avoid the cannon fire, but it wasn't really needed. Rough fight for the Terran. So let's look at this from the Terran's perspective here. So he's quietly base building. He has his forces up and running. Here's where it gets spotted because there's an observer floating somewhere around here.
Complete.
Where is it at? Oh, there it is, right there. You can kind of see it.
Mineral field depleted.
sees this, runs in. Probably should have backed up, used or stemmed or something, but there is really a rough fight. That's it. Not much more to say about that. Leave questions, comments, complaints, concerns. What do you think about that little fight there? If you were Terran, would you have attacked? Do you think that was the winning move, or would you have at least like sieged up your tanks that were backed off, really done anything to try to get a few siege hits in and try to funnel these through here? I mean, it's a hard decision to make, but something I've also noticed in these engagements is that the very beginning of the engagement, these tanks are ready to go, but they lose valuable time that could be firing by sieging up, and they only get a few hits off. Their DPS goes up, or their, not DPS, but they have a higher rate of fire with their main cannon, but their siege mode does splash damage, but it's slower. Overall, the DPS is about the same, unless the splash is actually hitting other targets. So it's one way or another, but valuable moments like this, I see this a lot of times with Terran players where a fight will be going and siege tanks will siege up and not get a single shot off. Here they get a couple shots off. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So kind of iffy one way or another. Backing off from this fight might have been the wiser choice for the Terran, but great job for the Protoss here, just macroing up and base building up, not getting harassed really enough to really stay on their heels. Terran, however, just wasn't base building fast enough and wasn't harassing, and really just got caught in the open in a really bad situation. So GG, good game, and I hope you all had enjoyed watching this.